Everybody got their white balance? You got it off the wall, right? Everybody good? Okay, good afternoon, everybody. You guys, why don't you go ahead and spread out on both sides? Before I go over, as you all know, we made an arrest related to the murder of Sergeant Sean Rios yesterday. Before I walk the committee through what occurred, I'm going to turn it to Mayor Turner. And Mayor, like we always say, thank you for being here with us, and thank you for your continued leadership and support and your commitment to the safety of the people of Houston. And we really appreciate you, and we'd like to turn it over to you.
Well, look, let me just be very, very brief. I just want to remind the general public that we always need your participation in whatever information you may have about any of these crimes that's being committed. It's not just one, it's all. And so any information you may have, certainly would appreciate it. We want to focus on putting more police officers on the street. At the same time, we want to focus on resources, on investigating these crimes, but we need the community to participate as well. So you are a key participant. If you know something, please say something, and all information will help to get these cases resolved, just like the one we're dealing with today. So, Chief, let me get back to you.
Thank you again, Mayor. And so as you all remember, we'll just recap real quick, tell you what's happened today and what we need. Yesterday, November 11th, or November 9th, as patrol officers were dispatched to a shooting in progress call to the northbound service road in the 7900 block with North Freeway. Officers arrived and found a Kia Forte abandoned on a nearby Stubner airline, and a male with a gunshot wound inside a nearby hotel. Witnesses came forward and claimed that two Hispanic males had a confrontation with the male in the Kia Forte. Witnesses told officers the driver of the Kia and the driver of the Mercedes fired shots at each other. The witnesses claimed one of the Hispanic males fled the scene in a light blue Mercedes. The other male fled in a black Chevy Tahoe truck, in a black Chevrolet truck. It was determined the wounded male had walked to a nearby hotel at 7766 North Freeway, who was pronounced deceased. Upon further investigation, sadly, as we all know now, that male was discovered to be Houston Police Department Sergeant Sean Rios. Officers canvassing the area located the blue Mercedes involved in this murder and developed the primary suspect. That's basically where we left off last night when we first spoke, and I've got the Special Investigations Unit here in early 2017. As you all know, Mayor Turner brought us here on November 30th of 2016, and on April 1, 2017, we put together a Special Investigations Unit of the Houston Police Department. These men and women have been working tirelessly on this case, like they do in all of their cases, nonstop for the last 24 hours plus, and as a result of their work and obviously our relationship with the community and witnesses and everyone else and everybody's cooperation, as the mayor was talking about, we've come to this point. But our DA, Kim Ogg, has always held this unit for the last few years as an example of what an excellence. As you all know, they investigate crimes committed by peace officers, alleged to be committed by peace officers, actually committed by peace officers, and crimes against peace officers as it relates to officer-involved shootings. And I could not be prouder of you, and I'm proud to say that you are the model for this county. And that's not my words, that's Kim Ogg's words. And I just wanted to bring them up here and say thank you for your work and acknowledge your work on behalf of all of us in Houston PD. The Rios family and the Brewster family, and I can go down the line to the Preston family and all of our victim officers in the last year. This afternoon, about 3:15 p.m., officers of our narcotics tactical team conducted a felony traffic stop on the Katy Freeway near West Sam Houston Tollway after viewing the passenger and identifying him as a suspect we've been concentrating on since the onset of this investigation. The suspect was transported to our homicide division, where he has initially been uncooperative. The male is identified as Robert Solis. Robert, common spelling, last name Solis, S-O-L-I-Z as in zebra, 24 years of age. Our investigation is still in progress, and in coordination with the Harris County District Attorney's Office, who, as you all know, will work with very closely. He was actually arrested for murder. We had a pocket warrant for a murder charge on him, and he's currently right here being processed at 1200 Travis headquarters. In a minute here, we're going to show you a surveillance video clip of the second individual. We know this person to be a person of interest, and I've got a message for this individual. The video we're going to show this community is clear. The video, the person, when they see themselves, they know who they are, but they're going to know that other people don't know who this person is. We need this person in custody, and like we told Mr. Solis yesterday before we knew who he was, that we were coming after him and we're going to find him. This individual is a person of extreme interest in relation to the murder of Sergeant Rios, and to him, his family, those that love him and care for him, his friends. Just know that we need this person to come forward. We are going to find him, and we need the public's help, and with the help of the media, our media partners, we know we're going to get to him. So if we can, is the video ready to be played? And we'll step out of the way for a second. That's our suspect in the white t-shirt that we put out yesterday. We put out his description shortly after the murder of Sergeant Rios, and that individual right there you see with the beard and the black shirt is a person of extreme interest to us that may also be involved in this murder. There's the suspect's vehicle that he was driving, and there are more photos, more information on photos on him. We're coming for you. We're going to find you. You might as well turn yourself in if you can hear me, because there's no doubt we're going to find this person. But to the community, know that this person is wanted in relation to a murder of a Houston Police Sergeant Rios, Sean Rios. We will try to, did you guys get that okay? Were you able to get it?
Can we do it one more time?
One more time? Okay, let me move this again. We'll put it on our social media afterwards. We'll put this on Facebook and Twitter as well. But that's our suspect who's been arrested in a white t-shirt. And that individual right there, we need him ASAP in that truck. Everybody good? We will go ahead and we will actually put that and tweet it out and put it on Facebook here in the next, in a little bit, probably within the next 20, 30 minutes. Huh? Let me just say that, again, our investigators worked tirelessly through the night. I don't want to mix up a bunch of cases, but when we work together with the public and we work together utilizing technology and we actually exploit all the technology that's out there, all the video that's out there, we end up with these great results. And again, that video we just showed you, that person is someone of extreme interest to us in the murder of Sergeant Sean Rios. And to that individual, we're coming for you. We're going to find you. So you might as well turn yourself in. And so with that, I want to give a special thanks to our many partners, law enforcement agencies that worked with us, including the Texas Department of Public Safety, the Drug Enforcement Administration, the FBI, Houston Division, the Homeland Security Investigations, and you all know that one of our best partners as it relates to gun crimes is the Bureau of ATF, Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms. So I really want to thank our partners. We have had investigators and teams throughout our region looking for these individuals. Today, Chief Slinkard, myself, Chief Finner, Chief Satterwhite and Commander Solis met with the family of Sergeant Rios, including his parents, his brother, his former spouse, his older daughter. Chief Satterwhite and Commander Solis are now up in north of the city in what town is that up there? Huh? Willis. At Sergeant Rios' son's football game because he wanted to go to school today because he knew he couldn't play in the game. So we didn't want him to be alone, and we wanted to have his commander and his chief stand in place of his father watching him play. And I want to thank our narcotics tactical team for using Sergeant Rios' handcuffs to handcuff our suspect. We would have all been up there, but we knew that we were hot on the trail of this suspect, and we didn't know how this might have ended today, so we couldn't afford to be an hour and 10 minutes away, or else we would have been there to watch that game. So with that, we'll open it up to questions, but again, you know, it's been a very tough year at this department. It's been a very rough year for the city, but it's been a rough year for, I think, the entire civilized world. And like we've been talking about with the violent crime spike across the country, not just here in Houston, but across the country, and the impacts of this horrible virus. I don't know about you all, but I'm ready to watch 2021 in my rearview mirror. We hope to have the memorial services on Monday. That's preliminary information, but more than likely it will be Monday. And we should have some additional official information on that tomorrow. And so with that, I'll open any questions, and I'll turn it back over to the mayor as well if he has any other comments. En español, bien rápido esta tarde queremos anunciar que acuérdense que anoche tuvimos el homicidio de nuestro sargento, el sargento Sean Rios, que desgraciadamente fue matado por un balazos en el Freeway Norte, en el 79 bloque, 7900 bloque de Freeway Norte. Tenemos testigos y video que están viendo que anoche pudimos decir que estamos buscando un sospechoso latino de 20 a 24 a 30 años de edad con los tatuajes. ¿Vieron este video que acabamos de ver? Ese video ven el sospechoso que hemos arrestado hoy como las 3 y pico de la tarde, sin incidente, en el Freeway 10, en la área de aquí en la área de Katy. Es importante que la comunidad sepa que este video que acabamos de enseñar con la troca negra, ese otro sospechoso vestido de pullover negro, es un sospechoso que necesitamos, lo vamos a encontrar. Si usted es familiar, si es vecino, o si eres esa persona, ese video, no vamos a parar de buscarte. Es importante si la comunidad tenga información sobre esa troca y ese individual en la camiseta negra, por favor, marque el 911. Por el fin del día, tenemos que tener la asistencia de la comunidad, encontrarlo, y sí lo vamos a encontrar. La otra cosa que quiero que sepan es que esta noche vamos a soltar unas fotos más claras del sospechoso. El señor Solis, de 24 años de edad, que fue arrestado con una orden de arresto por homicidio, y el señor Robert Solis, de 24 años de edad. Quiero dar las gracias al fiscal del condado de Harris, a Kim Ogg y sus colegas, y también a nuestros colegas al nivel federal, el DEA, el FBI, HSI y ATF, y también el Departamento de Seguridad Pública del Estado de Texas. La otra cosa es, pensamos que este sospechoso, el señor Robert Solis, ha cometido estos tipos de delitos amenazando personas con su pistola en las carreteras. Si lo conoce y eras víctima, por favor, venga adelante, que queremos hablar con usted, con nuestros investigadores. Por favor, llamen a la policía de Houston. I just added in Spanish that we will release Robert Solis's booking photo later on this evening. And if you recognize him from the video or from the booking photos that we will release later this evening, we believe that he has been involved in assaults with firearms involving road rage incidents in the Houston area. If you are a victim or recognize him and are a victim of any type of crime with Mr. Solis, please call the Houston Police Department Homicide Division Special Investigations Unit. We are highly confident that we will be charged with assaults with a pistol involving another member of the community that occurred about a month ago. And we'll put out more information on that as we put that case together. But there will be that case. So if there's 2 cases that we know about in the last month, there's a good chance there may be other cases. And if you're a victim, please let us know. With that, I'll open it up to questions. Then I'll turn it over to the mayor.
Do you think this was a road rage incident?
We don't know exactly yet, but it's either an incident involving a sergeant or he on-viewed something. We do have reports of shots being fired between two other vehicles that had nothing to do with our sergeant. We had 911 calls come in, and that's part of the investigation. Understanding Sergeant Rios's reputation, and he is known for a guy as a former Marine, and happy birthday to the United States Marine Corps. He doesn't turn the other cheek. He doesn't put on the blinders. If you saw something, he's going to act. And we do have 911 calls indicating exchange of gunfire between a white pickup truck and a Mercedes-Benz matching the description of the vehicle that we have in police custody, and that's the suspect's vehicle. And so we believe there's a high probability that Sergeant Rios saw that incident between those 2 vehicles, and sadly, he ended up losing his life and trying to intervene on that surface street. Anything else?
Is that the working theory, that you try to intervene at seeing something?
Yeah, that is.
Could he have heard a call? Like, did he have a scanner to where he could?
No, no.
So if
we don't-
he got involved in it as a police officer, he witnessed it, is from what you believe. He saw something.
Yeah, we believe
Right.
that again, we have 911 calls of shots being exchanged between a white pickup truck and the Mercedes-Benz in the same time frame shortly before our sergeant was killed. So we believe that may be very much what he was doing, is intervening in that incident.
Based on what you have so far, it's safe to say you don't believe Sergeant Rios knew the suspect? in any
No,
way?
there's no connection with the suspect.
Was anyone else in the vehicle with Sergeant Rios at the time?
No.
What's
He was on his way to work.
What's the connection between the suspect and the person of interest? How do you think they're connected?
Well, I'm not going to talk about that, just to say that that person of interest may be a person of interest or may be an additional suspect. So that's why I'm saying we're not going to stop looking for him. We are going to find him, and we need the public to come forward.
Can you give a time and location for that 911 call?
I don't have it with me right now, but that's part of the investigation.
Chief, Solis, the suspect, he's been arrested numerous times for various other crimes. Was there any sort of gang affiliation which might have been?
Yeah, he is a documented gang member, but I'm not going to talk about the gang right now.
Was he out on some sort of bond?
Yes,
What was he out on?
he was on a $100 bond for unlawful carrying of a weapon.
What do you think about that?
I think you know what I think about that, but I'm going to focus on solving this. We've got to take people that are bad people carrying guns. We've got to take them serious. They have no fear in carrying guns. They go in one door and out the other, and that's a problem.
Was he on multiple bonds?
I just know of one. I'm not going to get into that.
Can you talk, Chief, about the fact that
Now, let me go over here because he's been trying to get a question.
Just wanted to clarify that surveillance video that shows the 2 suspects. Do you know where that surveillance video came from and when it was recorded? Did it happen?
That was recorded immediately after this incident, shortly right after this incident. That individual is, he's a great interest to us, and I would say that he's either a personal great interest or a possible second suspect. And we've got to find that individual, and we're not going to stop looking for that individual. We are going to find him.
Just a very quick clerical thing.
Clerical?
His date of birth of Robert Solis.
I don't have it here with me.
Okay.
Huh? Okay. We don't give, according to Chief John Cannon of the Public Information Office, you know, my Yankee brother John Cannon said we don't give date of births, and that you shouldn't be trying to treat trick me like that because I am a senior citizen now.
Chief, what are off-duty officers supposed to do like when they run into trouble?
You know, the truth of the matter is officers truly are never off duty, and that's why when an officer has to use judgment, right? So we don't have all the details yet, but when people are shooting at each other, what would you want them to do? They were shooting at your mom, or we're police officers. We're wired to be the guardians of the peace. You know, we always talk about the fact that we want police officers to not have to have the warrior mentality, but they have to have the warrior courage. And there are times when we put ourselves at risk. We always tell our people, we don't want you to be reckless. We don't want you to be risk averse. We want you to be risk appropriate. And so it depends on the totality of the circumstances, and we don't have all the details yet. But we've had police officers in this country that are off duty, that are with an armed robbery goes down in a market. That some have been involved in shooting, some have been murdered, trying to intervene. But if it's appropriate, be a good witness. If it's appropriate to save lives, you need to intervene. That's just the way they're wired. Okay? I think that's it.
You guys can talk about the fact that there's been hundreds of homicides so far this year, a number of people, and officers and civilians killed. And I know you guys have had overtime, added funding, trying to solve some of this, but what do you say to Houstonians who are truly concerned about the trend, the unmistakable numbers and the statistics out there?
Let me just say this has been a very disturbing year. Over 340 homicides already this year. And when you compare that to last year, the number was right around 279, somewhere up in that ballpark. Let me start off by thanking this special tactical unit for the work that they have done and the amount of time they've spent overnight working on this case, and all of the other law enforcement agencies that have come together to have this person in custody. So that's a positive step, and I think hopefully will bring some solace to the family of Sergeant Rios. But let me also say that we are very mindful of the fact that there are hundreds of other families who are also in a great deal of pain, pain that's not in a sense and an emptiness that's not going to go away, and it's our goal, and certainly the goal of this city, to do everything we can to work to solve all of those cases, to bring to some degree some closure to the families that have been involved. And that's one of the things that I want to emphasize, is that it's going to take the community, the city as a whole, coming together. If you know something on any of these crimes, on any of these homicides that have been committed during the course of this year, to provide that information, that needed information, to law enforcement so that we can solve those crimes as well. But it has been a painful year. From my vantage point, every one of these families is important to me. Every one of these families that have experienced the loss of a loved one, where their loved one has been murdered in a gunshot or in domestic violence situation, or whatever the situation may have been. And so we're gonna do everything that we can do to try to bring closure to those cases, to solve those cases, because it's important to those particular families. So that's the best that I can tell you. You know, I wish I could explain why people do the things that they do, but I will say to you, COVID-19 is not a justification for any sort of crime. Okay. Now, I know people are experiencing a lot of anxiety and people are going through a whole lot, but COVID-19 is not a justification for any crime.
Do you think it's unfair to sort of say COVID is the cause of the spike we have in Houston, or
I think we certainly can note that these are unprecedented times, that there is a lot of anxiety, a lot of stress. People are going through a lot. There's no question about that. And there's no question that when you look at the numbers this year, that the numbers are exponentially higher. And what is the one factor that exists in 2020 that didn't exist in 2019 or 18 or 17 or 16? And that's COVID-19. Having said that, It is not a justification or an excuse for anybody to be breaking into someone's home, assaulting anyone, or killing anyone. It's not a justification. And so, we have a responsibility, a job to do. We're going to do our job. But the community also has to assist us in solving a lot of these crimes that exist and to bring in closure to those families. The good news in this case is that in a 24-hour time period, somebody is in custody in 24 hours. That's the good news for Sergeant Rios' family and for the HPD family and for the city as a whole. But what I will say to you is that I will not be satisfied until we have resolved the many other cases that's still yet to be resolved, where people are still moving about on our streets and can victimize some other person or some other family. And just like this person may be connected to 2, 3, or more situations, the same thing may occur to people who have committed crimes or who have taken the life of somebody else, and they are still walking on our streets. So hopefully the community will respond, provide us with the needed information so that we can provide some degree of closure to the hundreds of other families who are hurting in 2020.
Mayor, thank you, Mayor. And I just want to be real clear. We didn't stop working on the other cases that happened yesterday. We have another suspect in custody from one of the murders yesterday. We had 7 individuals that lost their lives yesterday. That includes Sergeant Rios. Out of the 7, 1's going to grand jury because it appears to be a legitimate self-defense. So we really had 6 murders yesterday, and 2 different cases have already resulted in arrests in 24 hours. And I think that speaks to the fact that we don't stop working on other cases just because it's our sergeant. We keep the ball moving, and we're going to continue to bring victims' families, we're going to bring them richly deserved justice and those suspects to justice. And let me just say that if you have any information on any case, but on this case or any other murder case, please contact the Houston Police Department Homicide Division. The number is 713-308-3600, especially if you know about this black pickup and that individual by that black pickup. 713-308-3600. Si reconocen este sospechoso en la camioneta negra, o eres víctima del crimen, de otro crimen cometido por uno de estos individuales, por favor llame a la División de Homicidio al 713-308-3600. 713-308-3600, or you can call Crime Stoppers as well anonymously. Okay, thank you very much. Oh, yes, sir, in Spanish. Sí, ayer lo que sabemos que minutos antes que el sargento Rios fue matado por este sospechoso, tuvimos reportes en el 911 de 2 vehículos, el Mercedes-Benz, que sabemos que ya tenemos, que el sospechoso estaba manejando, y una camioneta blanca que estaban disparando uno a los otros. Así que no estamos 100% seguros, pero pensamos que el sargento Rios vio ese tiroteo y fue a tratar de ver lo que estaba pasando, y eso fue cuando fue asesinado por este sospechoso. Y acuérdese, si tienes, también sabemos que este sospechoso, el sospechoso Solis, está bajo de fianza de $100 por tener una pistola, una arma de fuego ilegalmente, y tenemos que tomar más en cuenta y tomar más seriamente la justicia aquí. Los jueces tienen que tomar esos delitos más serios, ¿ok?
Es cierto, para el momento del arresto había un rumor de que él venía con un abogado a entregarse, ¿eso es verdad?
Yo sé que venía a esta área y creo que sí se iba a entregar, pero nosotros no sabíamos eso y no íbamos a tomar chances, okay? So he said in Spanish that there was information that he may have been westbound the freeway en route to surrender. We had been told by the DA's office that he was indicating he may come and surrender to them, but we don't know. We've been told a lot of things in the last 24 hours. And so when we spotted our suspect, we took him into custody, and thanks to the good work of the narcotics tactical team. And also, I want to mention our CSTs, our crime suppression teams, and our tactical units that were out all night looking for these bad actors. So again, thank you very much, and more to follow. Thank you all.
The sergeant was not targeted. Thank you.
Chief, was it Bush Airport he was working at? Bush or Hunt?
He was around.